Alright, we're in the condo in Florida. Sorry for the delay not getting a video out yesterday. But tonight's recipe is going to be the leftover chicken bacon Alfredo. Got an acorn squash, since we didn't have delicata squash at the market, spaghetti squash, and chicken, what are they? Cutlets. Cool. Can't record for too long. Got acorn squash, spaghetti squash, and chicken all baking. Stuff still out, and the best part of everyone's day, bacon frying in the skillet. We're about 30 minutes in with all the stuff in the oven. It's taking a little bit longer to cook that, but making progress. Hi. How are you?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
We took the chicken out of the oven and the squash. In there right now is the grease from this delicious creation. Yum. Acorn squash and about probably 3/4 of a cup of coconut milk. The spaghetti squash is here. Is about to be de-threaded. Yeah, Julie, like you, I don't know if de-threaded is a word that we can use in this context, but we're going to use it anyways. We're about to add the spices to the sauce as well. And we've got the chicken here that we will cut up shortly. So far we are about 3/4 of the way through the process, and it's starting to smell really, really good in here. Yum. Alright, so our sous chef here said she thinks that if this is supposed to be like an Alfredo, here, I'll let you explain.
I just, for my taste, I think it's a little bit too thick. So I would, and especially because it's going to go through the spaghetti, I would put just maybe a tiny bit more just to
Thin it out a little bit.
thin it out a little bit.
And actually, Julie mentions that in the recipe. She says, you may need to add more depending on how you like your sauce. So this is one of those liberties that you can take on your own as a cook and make things exactly the way you want. Cool.
Yep.
Good advice. All right, while she's working on the sauce over there, she added salt and pepper to taste now to make sure that there's a little bit more flavor. I'm working on the spaghetti squash and figured you'd like to see how professional this whole process of the word we're using is de-threading needs to be. But that's literally it. Comes off looking like that. And you basically got your spaghetti type strands that come straight out of this bad boy. So if you cook it to the right amount, and the way Julie described it, I've actually never heard it described that way, is when the back, if you cook it face down on the cooking sheet, when the back of the skin starts to give a little bit, that's usually a big indicator of when the spaghetti squash is done. And that's the only indicator I use this time, instead of normally flipping it over and testing, putting a fork to see if it'll go down to the bottom, all that type of stuff. But soft skin on the back of the spaghetti squash seemed to work. And when you're done, basically it'll just look like that. Alright, so we finished the meal. Now we're worrying about the presentation. Unlike most recipes, this one we're not actually cooking to serve right now. So we're going to be putting the stuff in here, putting it in the fridge overnight, and we will have it for a meal tomorrow. So taking a spaghetti squash, which we put in that dish. This is the technical way to move spaghetti squash from one plate to the other. And then basically I'm just going to mash it down to keep it somewhat even. If it were not on video, I'd probably just use my hands to fluff it a little bit. Again, do not need to do this my way at all. From there, beautiful. I'm going to take this delicious sauce. It actually looks really, really good. Tastes very good as well. I'm going to pour that in over the spaghetti squash. I'm going to try and spread that out a little bit. Keep it nice and even. This is another skill that I'm really good at since skipping kindergarten. Thank you, Mom. Wow, no commentary. Okay.
I don't want to ruin your recipe.
The chicken, dice that up as well. Going to basically spread that over the top layer here.
I would use my hands.
Yeah, I know you would, but I'm trying to get an A-level rating when the health inspector comes around.
Okay.
Nice layer there of some chicken. My problem is I want to make sure that everyone gets chicken, regardless of how this ends up getting served and cut. One more over here. Perfect. Okay. Then a little more sauce, you think, probably?
Yes, sir.
A little more on top here. And to one of the questions that Siobhan asked on the blog about sauce being left over, anytime there's sauce left over, it's never going to waste. It'll just be stored and basically served next to the dish on the table. So we will not waste here in this house. Too
Or
many,
you can use it for something else.
right? Like a salmon dish that my mom thought this Alfredo would taste delicious with. So when that's done, looks pretty decent, I'd say. Have to make sure that the bacon is cooked all the way through. So I'm going to sample some more of it.
No.
Yeah, so it's still good. We want to put the bacon on top. We didn't want it to get soggy, so we're going to just drizzle it and then not put any sauce on top of this. Now we know the first batch of bacon was good at the top, but maybe towards the bottom of the dish, it's not cooked enough.
Stop it.
No, that's still good there. Okay, good. Gonna spread some bacon around there. What do you think?
Looks good.
Did you just whisper all the bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people watching this video who say that as well. Bacon is definitely our friend. How'd I do?
You did wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, with this, you've got I believe it's called leftover chicken bacon Alfredo with spaghetti squash. Enjoy.